Hey, Coach. Mississippi State has held the first two quarterbacks to 54% completion percentage out. What have they done well in the back end to make it hard on opposing quarterbacks?
Well, I think it's everything. It's not just the back end. They're disruptive. Coach Arnett does a really good job with his system. They've got good players and they've got veteran players that know their system very well. They mix things up. They confuse the quarterback. They're a really good defense, and they've proven that. Statistically, you can see that. So, good players up front, mix things up, confuse the quarterback. And again, I think the system itself really puts their kids in a really good position to succeed.
Hey, Coach, another cornerback question here for you.
Yeah.
So with Colby Richardson, I saw you got a little bit banged up last week against Southern. What's sort of the status with him heading into this game?
Yeah, he had a mild thigh contusion, but he practiced all week, so really responded well, and yeah, he's good to go. He's practiced all week.
Just, with Micah's performance last week, how much of an expanded role do you guys think he could play in this game?
He'll play quite a bit. This is kind of tailor-made for his skill set. I think played well against Mississippi State last year, and he's got a really good sense of what we want to do in terms of coverage. But, I think the other thing is you got to tackle really well. And you got to get guys down in space, and you're fighting for every blade of grass, right? You got to get them down because they're a team that certainly puts themselves in really good third down situations as well.
Yeah, right here. Do you feel like each week you're finding out a little more about the identity of your team, or trying to figure out a little bit of progress every week, figuring out who they are, what they've done? Yeah,
there's no doubt this is discovery each week. Good and bad. And it's not just necessarily, tactical and technical. This is still about good habits, bad habits, how to practice. In some instances, when you're not 100%, can you give me, if you're 80, can you give me 100% of 80? So all those things, we're kind of going through that process right now, and I think it's going to be something that continues to evolve. We're still building trust, that they need to trust us, and we need to trust them when they tell us something as well. So, long answer to the question is we're still in the process right now.
Hey, Coach, here in the middle, what kind of week has John Emery had? And is it, each player is different, but do you learn something from Kayshawn in terms of rust and, getting a guy out there too quick?
Well, with Kayshawn, he was playing whether he had rust on him or not. Yeah, John, certainly, we want to get him in the action, but, we feel like with the other backs, they deserve playing time as well. So John's not going to be featured kind of like Kayshawn was featured. So we're excited to get him back. He obviously brings a skill set that we're impressed with, but we can't put too much on him. He's big, he's physical, he's going to help us in pass protection. He catches the ball well out of the backfield, but we have to be realistic with our expectations in game one, him coming out of the gates, no doubt.
Hey, Coach, right here. What progressions have you seen the offensive line make so far this season, and how do you see them developing the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think there's been better communication up front. When we had a very inexperienced center that we were trying to really force in a very short window into that position with Garrett, and he gave us everything he could, but we needed to make a change there to gain a little bit more experience, and Turner's done a really nice job there. So we gained a lot of what we would consider real good communication, along the front five there. But again, I think they just need time together. You still have a group of guys where we're gonna have new guys playing each and every week, and they're rotating in. So it's a process right now that they're just going to need to spend more time together.
Coach, you're on the right. What's kind of the expectations over the coming weeks and months for a guy like Sage Ryan, who's starting to play a lot more football as a sophomore? And where's Quincy Wiggins at? He's kind of seems to be moving further along with his rehab.
Yeah, so Sage, has been playing more. I just think consistency and performance for him each and every week is going to gain him some more playing time. He's showing up, in practice with consistent performances. So it's, he's got to unseat, Brooks Ward. There's talented guys. Foucher's coming back in, another week or so. So it's a deep group back there. So elevating his performance is what he has to do during the week of practice, and he's doing it. And so I think you'll see more of him. He's got to be involved in every special teams as well. But we like what he's doing. As you know, he's coming off a Liz Frank sprain, Quincy that is. We're going to get him involved in some special teams this week. I wouldn't say he's 100%. He's probably, somewhere 80, 85%, but he's going to play this week and help us in some special teams. And I think by next week he should be close to 100%.
Right, with Xavier Hill, is it right that he can play this week?
He is eligible to play this week, that's correct. So he'll be in the rotation. Well, he'll be in the depth. He'll be in the depth. I'm not saying and committing that he'll be playing for us, but he's in our depth. That's correct.
What position would he kind of slide in at?
He's going to be working at one of the guard positions.
Coach has time for two more, Jacques, and then Leah.
Coach, I think you talked about this Monday, but when you're defending their offense, is the challenge, if we drop too many back, then they hit us with a draw play, or if they can run it for, 5-10 yards. Is that kind of the challenge in trying to defend this offense? Everyone says air raid, but they can run it as well, right?
Yeah, they run it effectively, and so if your edges are too soft and, you're just in a three-man look, and if the numbers equal, if it's 5 for 5, there are 5 offensive linemen for your 5 guys, they're going to do really well running the football. So you've got to mix it up. You've got to be able to go 6 for 5 at times, and that's going to give them an opportunity to throw the football. So look, it's a numbers game, and you can't just sit in one look. If you do, you're going to get gouged.
Coach, what's difficult about running against this defense? I know they have a couple of key guys who are big playmakers in that situation.
Yeah, it's a moving defense. It's not static. They're always moving. There's different looks. So with all that movement, we're big up front. We've got to do a great job of matching that movement. And with multiple looks, guys that can play standing up or putting their hand on the ground, you're going to get different defensive structures. And I think that's in itself the nature of this defense that makes it difficult. Good.